Good morning and welcome back to my channel. It's Sunday, 14th of September 2025 and it's about 8:20 in the morning. Firstly, my apologies that I didn't get my video up yesterday. We had a really hectic day and we were out of the house from before 8 AM, so no time. Right, let's kick off this morning with what's for the basket, and it's some Marks and Spencer spaghetti. But there's more to go with that and I'll show you in a minute. My word of affirmation this week is forwards. So I'm looking at moving forward, I'm looking at making progress, I'm looking at being positive this week. Right, the first thing on my list, Joe,
is getting the measure.
The thing that is going to go with the spaghetti for the basket this week is this. It's a spaghetti measure. Does it show against my sweater?
Yeah.
Yeah. One small hole is one measure of spaghetti, 2 measures, 3 measures, 4 measures. So depending on how many portions you're making. Something I've been watching videos on and thinking about a lot this week is getting the measure of my food right. Now, last week I was really conscious that I'd increased my free food, mainly because the weather's colder, and I think that trips me into wanting more food. Secondly, because I'm now going to the gym, I need the fuel. And thirdly, because there's nothing wrong with eating to satiation. We need not fear free food. I was watching a video yesterday, and I'm going to ask Joe to link it in the description. This is a guy, I don't even know his name, but I've been watching him for a long time. And he has a Manjaro video, and he's lost a substantial amount of weight, I think somewhere around the 4 stone mark. His videos are under the channel heading Run For Your Life because he's a runner, and he also loves to walk, which is something I really love, and that's what's got me hooked on watching his channel, not his Manjaro journey, although it's interesting, but the fact that he loves to walk. So he's now pretty much at a stage where he wants to maintain his weight loss. He may want to lose a little bit more, but he's trying to maintain. I'm in that place, so I relate to him. But what I related to in this video was about measuring portions. And he specifically talks about his breakfast. But I'm looking at this across the board. But I look at it in a way with Slimming World that I don't have to measure everything. Now he's talking about weighing his cereal. And of course we have to do that. We're looking at 40 grams of porridge or 45 grams of shreddies because it's just gone up. Or we're looking at a certain amount of whatever cereal we choose. But that's fine for me because that gives me boundaries and I need that. As I was saying to Joe after I'd watched this video, I'm the woman who could have taken the biggest Pyrex bowl you can imagine, the sort you'd mix a cake in, and I could have filled it with crunchy nut cornflakes and half a litre of milk and eaten the lot. And then, when I was down to nearly just milk, I'd have gone and filled it up again. Thank God I don't do that today. Thank God my eyes are not bigger than my belly today. My belly's a lot smaller, but my eyes are still not bigger than my belly. Because once I get into eating things like that, there is no portion control. There is no stopping me. I have to choose not to do it. Those things are so moreish, especially for me. Anything with nuts in, anything that's sweet and cereally, I could just keep going, but it's pointless because it never did me any favours. It never made me feel better. It never scratched the itch. It just left me wanting more. So I found his video really interesting because what he initially thought as a bloke pouring his cereals into a bowl was a portion. When he read the packet, he realised was probably somewhere between 2.5 and 3 portions. And he counts calories. And I think he was quite shocked by the difference it made. Now I know we don't count calories, but it's relevant. Because if our portion size says 40 grams of something like grape nuts, or 50 grams of all bran, which is what I generally choose, it means 40 grams or 50 grams for your benefit or for my benefit. It doesn't mean because it's being restrictive. It means this is where you will get the best results. And it's true, because it works if you work it. And we are so fortunate in that we have to measure so little. We're measuring our A choices, whether that's cheese or whether that's milk. We're measuring our one B choice, not difficult. Get yourself a decent set of kitchen scales, which are cheap as chips. But as with regard to our free food and our speed food, there is no measuring. Don't let anybody con you into thinking you've got to measure this because there's calories in it. That's all been done for us. We have the freedom. We have the freedom to choose which foods we enjoy. We have the freedom to choose which foods we love. And we have the common sense and the adult knowledge enough to know what is a real portion. Now, I'm a great advocate for using sins. And I understand, to my way of thinking, why sins are relevant. Because when I come into Slimming World and they say, okay, 5 to 15 sins, I've been in Slimming World always at a weight where it was 5 to 15 sins. If I'd come in at my initial 22 stone, I think they'd have given me probably 20 sins, but I didn't. I lost some weight before I came along. But it's important for me that Margaret Miles Bramwell had the foresight to know that I couldn't come in as the person I was, eating the crap I was eating, and just suddenly go cold turkey on everything. She had the wisdom to know, because she was where I was at. She was never, in her younger years, a small girl. So she knew that she couldn't suddenly come into a diet and cut everything. It's like if you want to stop drinking, if you want to stop smoking. For a lot of us, going cold turkey is really hard, but cutting down is the way to go, reducing things gradually. And that's what your sins are for. Your sins are there, 15 sins, so that you can have some of the things you need on the way down. And if you want to continue having 15 sins right through your weight loss, you can do it. This, to me, is what makes this plan sustainable. If you come in from day one and you think you're being a clever girl, like I've done on occasions, and you've thought, right, I'm allowed 5 to 15 sins, well, I'll have 2. And that way I'll lose more weight. You might initially. I probably did initially on occasions. But give it a few days or a couple of weeks and you'll fall on your arse. Because it's not sustainable. And weight loss, if you want it to be your final goal, if you want it to be your future life, looking forwards, you have to have a plan that's sustainable. Or there is nothing that special about you or I that we can do it differently. If you start off with Operation Starvation and you white knuckle it and you cling on, and in 3 months you've lost 3 stone, then you get that euphoric feeling, I've done it, I've cracked it, I'm here, I've achieved it, I am amazing. And I give you 3 months to put it back on again. Been there, done that. It's not sustainable. Consistency of choices is what will get you to the end place. And that end place is where the bloody hard work starts. I'm wearing a sweater today that was from my Target days. I'm not where I want to be. Thank God I'm not where I used to be. But being able to put something on today that I haven't worn for probably 5 years, 4 years, something like that. To go shopping yesterday with Joe, to be in Lucy and Yak, trying on a sweatshirt that I liked, and I started with medium, too big. Then I put on small, too big, sorry. Then I put on extra small, and it fit, but it wasn't comfortable, as in on the boobs, a bit booby. That is a nice feeling, But unless I am prepared to be consistent with my plan, I'll lose that again, just like I did last time. I stayed at Target for over 4 years and then I blew it because I stopped being consistent. And what keeps me consistent is measuring my B choice, is measuring my A choices, is filling myself up with free and speed food and using my sins to make my meals so delicious that I'm not looking for something else. I've never once in, over 400 days consecutively on this plan, I've never once finished a meal and then thought, I wish that had been something different, or now I want something else, because I truly, truly love the food I'm eating. And I'm making choices today. One of the things I found this week, Joe got me some figs. Best figs I've ever had in my life. There's some beautiful big fat figs around at the moment. Now, I was the girl who I didn't eat fruit for 4 or 5 years, did I, Joe?
No.
I hardly ate vegetables. This is how I put the weight back on again, because I stopped using those foods. But now I would rather choose to have 3 big fat figs over any cake or biscuits. Not because I'm a martyr, not because I'm perfect, because I'm not. I'm human. But because it tastes better. Once you've lost the taste for the crap, things like figs, and the other thing we found this week that I've loved, which were called kiwi berries, not kiwis. I'm not the biggest fan of kiwi fruit, I don't like skin, but kiwi berries. Look out there. Find something that tickles your taste buds. Find something different. Try something you've never had before in the fruit and veg line. They're your lower calorie foods. One of the things I was saying to Joe the other day, because he makes me this huge bowl of chopped up salad and then we add something to it, usually about 240 grams of chicken and then something else to make it tasty using sins and all that sort of thing. No, I'll eat 1/3 of a cucumber. I'll eat, how many radishes do you chop up in that?
5 or 6.
5 or 6 radishes. These sort of things are only 16 calories to 17 calories for 100 grams. If you pad out your meal with lots of different pickles and lots of different salad type things, the things you enjoy, because you'll never see a tomato in mine, you've got to find what you love. The spring onions at the moment in Marks and Spencer's, because I'm a lazy old so-and-so, I buy ready prepped spring onions, no waste. And they're not wilty and droopy, they're strong and fresh. Those sort of things. How many spring onions would you put in my lunch?
5 or 6.
Yeah. Get all that stuff in there. Get your cornichons, get your marinated garlic, get your every kind of pickle. Just fill it with flavour and make it big, because it's low calorie food. And then, as I say, 240 grams of chicken if you're a meat eater, plus some sort of noodles, pasta, rice. Get your free food in there. We added one yesterday, the onion, bhaji and sweet potato salad from Aldi, which is 3.5 sins. It's not chilli hot, but it is spicy nice. It's got fenugreek and things like that in. If you add that to a huge salad with a load of chicken, or the equivalent for a vegetarian, you've got a big bowl of tasty food. And when I say a big bowl, I mean a big bowl. I don't mean a bowl that size. So get the measure of your food and enjoy it. Next subject.
Blimey. Don't look back.
I'm going to ask Joe to quote something he quoted at me from a musical guy the other day. What was it, Joe?
If you keep looking back, you'll trip going forward.
Yeah. We've all got a past. We've all had problems in our life and difficulties, and we'll face a lot more, and we may face worse in the future. But if we focus on the past, and we focus on the fact, if I focused on the fact that I was 22 stone, oh my God, that was hell. It was awful. I hated it. I was like a beached whale. I struggled to get in and out the armchair or in and out the car. If I fill my head with all that, it won't be long before I'm back there. Because what I dwell on is what I become. And it would be so easy to eat myself back to some weight, somewhere between where I am today and where I started. You just saw it in me last year when I came back to this channel at 15 stone 6. I gained 5 stone like that so easily because I took my eye off looking forward. I started to dwell in my emotions because my friend was very ill and my whole focus was on, I'm going to lose her. I needed to keep looking forward beyond Val dying and be focused, not selfishly focused, but be focused on myself. Because it's like the analogy about the aeroplane, unless you put your oxygen mask on first, you can't save anybody else. But if you don't put your oxygen mask on, you can't save yourself. So keep looking at where you need to be. Keep focused on your journey. And don't try to out-exercise a bad diet. And I use the word diet to describe an eating plan of any kind, whether you're on a weight loss journey or not. We all have a diet. You know, we have a vegan diet, a vegetarian diet, a carnivore diet, a keto diet, whatever, or we just eat like the average person in this country. That is still a diet, you know, the basic British diet. We need to keep looking forward. And I know at the moment we're starting in group and stuff like that to keep mentioning the Christmas word. Please do not get bogged down in there is no point in doing this now, there is no point in losing weight now, there is no point in making effort now because I'm only going to put weight on at Christmas. If that's what you believe, that's what you'll do. And there is absolutely no need to gain weight at Christmas. There is more to Christmas than food. So please don't get bogged down in I'm looking 3 months ahead. Look at today. Look at the rest of today. Focus on what you're choosing to eat today, because today's all we've got. But if you spend your life looking backwards, over your shoulder, yeah, it's good to be able to stand here today and say, today I'm 10 stones 10 and I used to be 22 stone, so I've got 11 stone 4 pound loss. That's a nice feeling, but it's temporary. Hopefully next week I might have an 11 stone 4.5 pound loss. Hopefully in a month's time I might have a 11 stone 6 pound loss. That's looking forward. But if I keep looking backwards, I'll be going, oh Jesus, now I've only got a 9.5 stone loss. And I'll have done that to myself by taking my eye off the ball. So one day at a time, look forward, find positives. It's the only way. Next one.
We justify.
Oh yeah. I've seen so many videos in the past 6 months where we justify, I say we, I don't know if I've done it or not, you can point it out if I have. We justify weight gain by saying it's only water. I was watching a lady the other day and she was very much like, she'd gained 5 pounds and she said, I'm not, again it was a Manjaro video, but I'm not knocking Manjaro, it was just an example. This was a lady who had run out of Manjaro during the latest hoo-ha. She's back on it now. But in the week she was without it, she gained 5 pounds. And she's a nice woman, I'm trying to think what her name is, Keely Edwards. She said, it's only water. Now, when I go to Slimming World and I have a loss of £0.5, £1, £2, do I ever get off the scales and say, oh, that's good, but it's only water? So why, when I'm getting on the scales and I have a gain, am I inclined to believe, I'm not anymore because I have a better understanding of it, but why am I inclined to believe, oh, it's all right, it's only water? When we lose weight, we lose water, we lose fat, we lose muscle, and we lose glycogen. Glycogen is another one of those things that can take water. I don't fully understand what glycogen is. That stored by the liver, Joe?
It's like sugar that's stored in, you can store it in different places. It's stored in your muscles and your liver. And
Right, okay. But we don't just lose water and we don't just lose fat. And one of the really important things is we lose muscle. I'm working on gaining muscle at the moment because muscle helps burn calories. Muscle speeds up my metabolism. Muscle means I can burn calories and my metabolism works better when I'm not doing anything. So if I'm building muscle, if I've got some muscle, which is coming slowly, but if I've got muscle, when I'm not running around or walking 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 steps, or when I'm not at the gym, my body will metabolize food a lot better. All of this is stuff you can read about and it's really interesting. But when I gain weight, say I just blew everything out the water this week and it came back next week with a half stone gain, which is simple, that's easy to do. And then I stand on the scales and I say, it's okay, it's only water. There is a big chance it won't all be 7 pounds of water. Because if it was, by the following week, that 7 pound would have just weed away. So don't be, I'm saying this to myself as much as anybody else, don't be so blasé about it. And don't use it as an excuse. Please don't. Be real. Food is something that gains us weight. And I think if we're not careful, we can start to get really blasé and think, oh, it doesn't matter. Because if I have a bit of a crap week this week, I'll only gain water. And I'll do something about it the following week. Because let's face it, most of us know how to make excuses. We also know how to kid ourselves. We're not kidding anybody at group, because when we sit in group and we're making the same excuses that everybody in group's been making for 10, 15, 20 years, inside they're smiling and thinking, yeah, I've used that one. We're only fooling ourselves. And it's not worth it. It's not worth the keep going up and down for 6 months and probably losing a stone, when in that 6 months you could have lost 2 or 3 stone. Consistency, choices. There are channels on YouTube where people are consistently working this plan. And you will see them losing weight and making progress. So yeah, I think for me, I don't ever want to stand on the scales again and have a gain and blame it on water. My weighing results are purely down to how I live my life, how I have adopted this lifestyle and how my body reacts to that. And I don't want to make excuses anymore. I just want to enjoy my life. And I do enjoy my life. Next one, Jack.
Oh, forgive me. Sugar?
Yeah, is there anybody out there who would like to quit sugar? When I first came to Slimming World back in 2015, I was a person who had 2 sugars in my coffee. Always had to have sugar in my coffee to make it bearable. And I didn't mind sinning it, and you can sin it. It's not an issue. If you really, really enjoy it, if it's one of the things you love, sin it. I remember somebody saying to me at group, use honey instead, you'll find it a lot sweeter. Well, I don't think honey is any sweeter, and we used Manuka honey for a while until I just thought this is ridiculously expensive. And it doesn't, I actually needed more honey than I did sugar because it's a different kind of sweetness. But when I got frustrated about sinning sugar, I decided to reduce it. So down from 2 spoons to 1 spoon, and then eventually down from 1 spoon to no spoons. And today, I don't think I could drink coffee with sugar in, because doing it gradually, letting it go, has changed my taste completely. And as I'm going along, I actually drink my coffee quite a bit stronger than I used to, because I like the taste of the coffee I drink. And it's another one of those things. Be careful. Don't just, I know coffee's expensive now, but don't just buy the coffee you've always bought because you've always drunk Kenco, Nescafe, Dow Egberts, Asdazone, whatever. If that's not tickling your fancy, try a different coffee.
Are we talking about just added white sugar here?
Well, mainly,
Because
but you
it's
explain
not
a bit
like
more.
it's like I'm just saying that it's not that you avoid sweet things entirely.
Oh God, no. But I'm talking about adding sugar. You know, like adding table sugar, adding brown sugar. Because
Like yesterday, you had the figs, and you were like,
Oh
"They're
God,
the
they're
sweetest,
sweeter than any
sweetest
sugar."
figgy jam I've ever had."
Yeah, I don't avoid sweet things. I really don't avoid sweet things. Naturally, sweet things. But I would never have, like for my breakfast
Cereal
today.
with sugar on.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But I would have done when I was fat.
Yeah.
That's how I got fat.
Yeah, so I just wanted to
thank
say that's what
you.
you.
Yeah, thanks. I'm talking about adding sugar. So people will say, "Oh, I'm having such and such for my breakfast." Say, fruit and yogurt, and then put the fruit on top. And you may have blackberries that are a bit tart, so you sprinkle sugar or you put honey on or whatever, or artificial sweeteners, which can have the same crap effect on your brain as sugar. It's sustaining that sweet tooth that keeps you prisoner to that kind of sweetness. I've got to the stage now, like Joe just said about the figs. Those figs were like, I used to love fig jam from Marks and Spencer's, but those figs were as sweet as any fig jam, but it was natural sweetness, no added sugar. I used to have this sweet tooth that was like, I need more. So I'd start off with my usual cereals, which is, usually something with a nutty something in it. Or even Special K, because I thought they were a diet cereal until I realised there were more calories than a lot of other cereals. But I'd sprinkle 2 or 3 spoons of sugar on top. And then when I'd eaten so far down the bowl, and I did it with porridge, I always had a layer of sugar on top of the porridge. I'd eat that layer, then I'd put more sugar on. And all I was doing was building a sweet tooth. Whether you're doing it with sugar, whether you're doing it with honey, whether you're doing it with artificial sweetness, I really think you're trapping yourself in a place where you're not appreciating the flavour of what you're eating. And like I was saying about the coffee, if your Nescafe of 25 years isn't cutting it when you're on plan without and doing it without sugar, try a different coffee. I'm always working my way around coffees. At the moment, I'm drinking Marks and Spencer's Decaf, which is an instant coffee, or I'm drinking Cafe Nero's coffee pods, Classico coffee pods, which I only drink first thing in the morning because they're caffeinated. And I've had some this morning and it makes me like, woo! I can't drink that all day long, but I'm going to the gym and I've got a lot to do today as well. So I don't mind being on a bit of a high and talking fast and getting on with things, because that's what caffeinated coffee will do for me. But don't hold on to that sweet tooth, because you will slow down your weight loss.
Back on the sugar and cereals thing as well, like, it's funny how we demonise fats and sugar combined in something like a donut or something, but when it comes to like honey and nuts, we kind of put a health halo on it, like, nuts and honey are healthy, but it's still just a source of fat and a source of added sugar, just like combined.
That's interesting, Joe. Do you remember we were saying the other day there are certain foods that you would eat for weight gain? And I remember you saying at the time, if you want to lose weight, although you can have nuts as a healthy extra B, it's a measured amount. It's so many hazelnuts or it's so many walnuts.
Yeah.
If you exceed that, you're getting into a danger place where if you want to gain weight, eat a lot of nuts. What were the other foods? We named a few other things that were sort of weight gaining. Combining things like nuts and chocolate.
In my head, it's generally nuts because they're considered like healthy. But,
but
when you look at like peanut butter or any other nut butter or something like that, or trail mix where you're combining dried fruit and like nuts, it's loaded with calories for the amount that you get.
Yeah, and for me, when I used to eat nuts, I used to love nuts. I mean, to be careful because he's allergic to a lot of nuts. So I'd think about what I'm bringing into the house. And when he was out at school or college or something, I'd bring in chocolate-covered peanuts, because it's not good having peanuts around here. So bring in quite a big bag of chocolate-covered peanuts because that makes them more palatable. But I had no clue how many calories were in things like that. You know, we're talking about adding peanut butter to things. A lady in our group this week had a lovely recipe with peanut butter added. But 100 grams of peanut butter is way over 600 calories, and it's not a lot. You know, when you actually look at what they recommend as a portion of peanut butter, it's probably a tablespoon, not a heaped tablespoon.
I've even seen it where people will go as far as considering peanut butter a source of like quality protein. It's like, no, it's a source of fat mainly. It's not like a protein source.
Any nut butter is a source of fat, isn't it?
Yeah.
So whether you're looking at sunflower butter or peanut butter or almond butter, it's just the same really as... it just horrifies me that we're told and we're sold these things as healthy. Healthy options are nuts in very small quantities, in moderation. That's why we have them listed as a B choice in a measured amount. But it's one of those things, isn't it? Hand to mouth, hand to mouth, hand to mouth. You could eat endless amounts of. So make yourself, you know, in my old days, make myself a bowl of cereals, throw a load of nuts on, whatever, and not realise that that bowl of cereals with all those nuts on was probably half my daily calories. Anyway, just, yeah, interesting. Sugar is where it starts for me, and God knows where that can take me to. It would take me to all the things I used to eat that I used to coat in sugar. You know, I might have 40 grams of porridge, but on top of it I might have 40 grams of sugar when I'm off plan. I don't go there anymore. And finally, is it my weigh results?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a good week last week on plan. Another 7 days, absolutely on plan and loving it. And I had a birthday last Sunday. My week was a bit different in that 2 days we didn't get to walk. One day we did half a walk, so we probably did about 7,000 steps. And then the heavens opened and we got absolutely drenched, didn't we? Mm-hmm. I was wet through to the underwear. It was like, I just felt like I'd been in the shower with my clothes on. So we actually had to hop on a bus to get home because we were so wet. I couldn't have walked home. So that day my steps were probably down to 7,000 from my usual kind of 15, whatever. And then on the Saturday I went to see my mum, which meant 150 miles in a car, like a round trip. And I am not good at sitting for all that time. So that day I didn't get to walk at all. And I had to miss my trip to the gym because I set off really early and got back really late. And I felt it. I felt a lot. By the time I got back on the Saturday evening, I felt deflated. I felt a lack of energy. Because going to the gym 4 mornings a week energises me. So on the Sunday morning, got up to go to the gym, and I was very much like, I don't want to go. I've got no energy, I'm not feeling it, I don't want to go. So he says, you're going. And I'm not going to argue with him, he's taller than me. So we went to the gym on the Sunday morning and I bloody loved it. Once I get there and I start to get things moving and the energy rises, I can see why I'm doing this. So that was a day and a half without walking, that was 150 miles just sitting in a car. Plus we had hospital appointments that week, which was, the hospital's an hour away and it's more sitting. And I used to be a person who could sit from getting up in the morning to going to bed at night, it wouldn't have bothered me. I can't now, I've got to move. Yesterday in the afternoon Joe was out, so what did I do? I got on with laundry and stuff like that, but I also cleaned the bottom shelf of all my top cupboards because I couldn't sit still. And again yesterday I had to miss the gym because of hospital appointments. And I'm conscious this morning that I am itching to get there because I want to get that energy up. And then I want to walk out the gym and I want to go for at least a 15,000 step walk. Not because I have to, not to lose weight, but because I can and I want to, and it's my choice. And I know everybody can't do that, but I'm only doing my weight loss, I'm only doing my health journey. I can't do anybody else's. So all in all, having a birthday bang on plan, went to my mum's, took my lunch with me, they were eating cakes, I didn't want them. Now at one point out came some egg custards. Oh, Years ago, if a plate of egg custards came out, nobody else would have got a look in. Because egg custard or pastel de natas are my thing. Or rather, they used to be. I don't want it now, they're too sweet. And also, I don't even know how many sins is in an egg custard, but it certainly wouldn't be worth it. So I take my food with me. Nobody's offended by it. They're used to me now. On the way back, my brother was like, do you want to call it Costa? So I looked at him, I said, do you? He went, oh, well, if you want to. And I went, no, I'll make you coffee when we get home. I would have broken my neck to get him to call it Costa and buy me the biggest hot chocolate with cream on top, because I'd had quite a difficult day. My mum paid me a compliment the next day on the phone. She said, well, you don't look as damn bad as you used to. Now, I'm saying my mum paid me a compliment. From my mum, that's a compliment to me. But I was chuffed. I went to my mum's in a pair of size 10 trousers and a size small top. That's not to say they would be equivalent to everybody's size 10s and smalls and whatever. The jumper I'm wearing today is a size small. And I feel like I'm getting back into my body. But I'm working on it. Tell us a comment again, Joe, about the magic. The magic you are.
The magic you're looking for is in the work you haven't been doing.
Yeah. The magic I am looking for, I have to work for. And I like having a project. I don't want to sit on my backside anymore and just ruminate about why I am fat. Why aren't my friends fat? Why am I the fat one? This isn't fair. Why can't I do this? Why can't I go there? Why do I feel awful when I'm the one at the fairground standing holding the bags and the coats, which I used to be when Joe was little? Why? Because I chose to be there. Why am I not there anymore? Because I've chose to work on not being there anymore. So the magic I'm looking for is not in the hard work I'm avoiding. The magic I'm looking for is ahead of me. And I'm focused on grabbing a hold of that magic and running with it. So that's me for this week. But what were my results? After my week of perfectly on plan, I got a maintain, which for me is a happy result, because I am learning to come in to land at the sort of weight I want to be at, which I don't know. I don't know where that is now. I'm 10 stone 10. Where do I want to be? I haven't got a clue. But I'll tell you when I get there, because I'll feel it and the magic will be present. It's not yet, but I'm not in a hurry to make massive changes. I'm just trying to lose £0.5 pound a week or get a maintain. And I did it. And I tell you what, it's the best birthday present I could have given myself. Thanks for staying to the end if you did, and we'll see you next weekend. Cheers.